When it comes to employment satisfaction, it is often said that who we work with is just as important as the job we undertake. For the past 50-plus years, Maranatha Volunteers International has found this to be the case regarding volunteering as well. Maranatha's service opportunities fall into two general categories. Open team projects are, as the name indicates, open for anyone to join. Many volunteers register solo and hit the ground ready to make new friends. Group projects are open only to a private group of individuals, usually from the same school, church, company, or friend group. These teams rely on Maranatha's expertise to design a project for volunteers to serve and strengthen pre-existing social bonds. While most Maranatha projects are either one type or the other, there is one trip that exists in the overlap. A unique blend of both. Multiple Group Project was designed to unite several private groups into one cohesive unit. It's a convenient answer for groups that are too small to undertake a project on their own. But Multiple Group Project also raises an important question. Can a mixture of friend groups and strangers experience the same level of connection as a team with just one type or the other? On today's episode of Maranatha Mission Stories, we'll explore this question in the Dominican Republic with Multiple Group Project volunteers who served there in March 2026.
I was a little bit worried about the dynamic. I actually didn't entirely know that there was going to be two schools coming into this. I thought that it was just going to be, different random groups, and I knew I was probably going to find a couple people that I enjoyed, but I didn't know if I was going to feel kind of alone, since I was, a lone wolf, so to speak, on this trip, and didn't know, how, if we would all be kind of one cohesive group, or things would be kind of separated and kind of a weird dynamic.
It was very weird at first, because obviously teenagers, we always want to be in your own group, not break out of the comfort zone.
So I think at first it was a lot of segregation, where some of us were on one side of the room and other people on the other side of the room.
13 students and sponsors from Tri-City Christian Academy in North Carolina, 18 from Lake Nelson Academy in New Jersey, and 2 solo participants all traveled here. The town of La Vega. The group started workdays together with breakfast and a quick worship at their hotel, before splitting up and heading to 2 different work locations in town. This is one of them. It's a few days into the project, and with guidance from Maranatha construction crew members, volunteers know the drill by now. But this morning, their block, mortar, repeat routine has a guest observer. Josué Sansfleur is the pastor of the Ebenezer II congregation, which will inhabit this new church structure. Its 250 members are Haitians who've emigrated to the Dominican Republic in search of increased security and economic opportunity. Unfortunately, they often experience prejudice, which has made it difficult to rent a worship space long-term.
We were facing a lot of challenges. For example, the culture, the languages. When we sing, some neighbors say, I can't understand. I don't like when these people are singing and the way they are working in the church. So they talked to the owner of the place, of the building, and the owner called me and told me, Pastor, I'm sorry, it's your last year. You have only 3 months to leave the building. We were very, very disappointed. It was a very difficult situation. We were scared. I gathered the members of the church, all the brothers and sisters. We fast, we pray, and we say, God, we need a miracle. We need a miracle. The president of the conference, one day after, called me and said to me, Pastor, God is answering your prayer because Maranatha decided to build your church. You can't imagine the challenge. When I know that I'm a good pastor, and I try to build a church, I try to build a church for my members, and then I couldn't. The pastor supposed to be able to find a safe place for the sheep. Now I can say I am really a pastor because we have a we have a site, we have a place for the church members.
Something that really touched my heart is when we learned that this congregation has been asking or praying for a church for over 18 years. And we're bringing students who are under 18. Some of them are 18, but most of them are under 18. And so these students are coming to answer a prayer that was prayed before they were born. And so that just brought tears to my eyes when I heard that. And that I said, what an amazing thing to be part of something, to be part of what God is doing.
The main thing that stood out to me is how excited they are to get to praise the Lord, and thank God that they're getting a church built for them, to see that the Lord actually answers prayers. Construction has been really fun, really interesting. It's my first time working with cement blocks, so everything is pretty heavy lifting and things like that, but everyone's working together, so it makes it easier.
Construction is definitely a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It's a lot of hard work, but it's something that I love to do in terms of like lifting and the art of it. It makes me feel kind of at home and in a space where I'm comfortable.
While some volunteers took to block laying right away, others had a different experience.
It was a failure the first time. I kept on laying the mixture on the block. It kept on falling off. I was getting frustrated. And then when they told us to move the blocks, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do this. This is so heavy, and it's something that I'm not used to. I think out of three of my siblings, my parents thought I was probably the last one that I would have want to come to a mission trip, because they're always telling me, oh, you're like the most delicate out of the three. We don't see you doing all of that. They know I like to travel, but to vacation, like you going on a mission trip, my siblings have been teasing me this whole time. They're like, I don't believe you're building a blog. I don't think you're doing all of this.
True to her family's perception of her, Yamile joined multiple group project with no intention of doing manual labor. After that first frustrating day on the construction site, she did her very best to stick to the team's 2 other service outlets. Learn more about those when we come back. In March 2026, students and sponsors from 2 high schools and 2 individual volunteers joined Maranatha's multiple group project in the town of La Vega in the Dominican Republic. The trip's biggest question? Could small groups form one cohesive unit, connecting with new faces in addition to the people they came with? Team members undertook the construction of the Ebenezer II Seventh-day Adventist Church building for a congregation of Haitian immigrants and operated medical clinics, which were especially useful for this demographic. Here, they could receive assistance without fear of discrimination. Volunteers collaborated with local healthcare providers to operate a free source of physical evaluations and basic medications. After struggling through a day of construction work, Yamile felt right at home speaking with patients in Spanish. It's her first and most comfortable language, after spending most of her primary school years in Peru and Venezuela.
We had to give the patients the medicine that they needed based on the prescription that was given to them by the doctor. And I speak Spanish, and some of these people, they speak Creole, I think that's what it is called. But they also speak Spanish because they're here in the Dominican Republic. So seeing the relief on their faces when they found out that I spoke the language was something that really hit me, because I'm like, yes, I'm bilingual, but I didn't know it was this important until I experienced it for myself.
I am trying to be a medical doctor. I'm actually going to medical school in July. I think it is kind of opened my eyes to the importance of, healthcare equity, cultural competency. I think this experience, especially, just being able to speak to them in Spanish and even some words in, Haitian Creole, I think being able to relate to them on that level is very important. Helps them, feel more trust and feel more safe.
Spanish language skills also helped Yamile and others communicate with kids during multiple group projects' third service opportunity, Vacation Bible School programs. This outreach took place at an Adventist school and public school. Volunteers used activities like songs, crafts, and skits to highlight the character of Christ in ways that children would enjoy.
That they come up to you, they hug you, and in the U.S. people are not as effective as these people. Here they just come and hug you, start touching your hair and tell you how they were like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so this, and it didn't feel weird to me because that's what I was used to in Peru. You know, we greet each other with a kiss on the cheek and then with a hug and everything.
Lots of people ask me, like, why would you do VBS? Why not go help build the church or do medical all day? In order to be anything in life, you need a mentor. You need to learn from somebody. So I feel like in order for me to be a teacher, which is what I decided to do, I wanted to be a music teacher. Even though I'm going to be teaching music, I still need that experience with kids, learn how to talk to them, how to problem solve. And I feel like VBS is really helpful because you get to deal with kids from all age groups who have different backgrounds. I mean, there's Haitian, Dominican kids.
You know, sometimes I forget, you know, there's so much in the world around me. And so, you know, being able to see all these other Adventist students, you know, in Dominican Republic, seeing how they do school, seeing their school buildings, it's just really cool. They're so happy to see us running up to give us hugs, calling me beautiful. It just makes my day, like, it makes me feel so happy. And I think I'm never gonna forget the smile that these kids have on their faces.
Gloria and Giovanna are a mother-daughter duo who enjoy experiencing mission trips and leading VBS programs together.
I think a word that I could use to describe all of them is very enthusiastic. Like, they're so enthusiastic. When we come in the morning, they're always waving at us and saying hi. And then they interact with some of our songs that have hand motions. And when we do the crafts too, they ask us for help and they like to show us, like, look what I did, I made this. And then I think the best time where we create the best connection is right after, when they let them loose. They just come and they ask us all these questions. Where are you from? How old are you? And stuff. And they're just so happy and sweet.
I'm a mom of 3, so love children because I love my own. But I just have always, since I was little, loved to be around babies and kids and little ones. I consider myself to be just kind of like that fun-loving, playful person, and so kids just animate me. Like, I feel energized by kids. I also love it for the bond that we're building. So I'm not gonna get emotional, but it's like what she says. It's like having your daughter say that she's okay with having me around. It means I've done something right. And so it just makes me happy.
Multiple group projects' 3 service opportunities, construction, medical clinics, and VBS, are a great place for connection. Volunteers have automatic commonalities because of things like hard work and shared experiences. But to decide if multiple group project allowed for the same type of meaningful camaraderie as other Maranatha projects, one must explore another important aspect of the trip. Find out what when we come back.
These women spend 640 minutes a day fetching water. This isn't unique. In Africa, women spend an estimated 40 billion hours a year searching for water. It's time that could be spent on caring for the family, community development, or work. Water is life. But your life shouldn't revolve around water. People need better access to clean water, and Maranatha wants to help. Give women the gift of time, health, family. Sponsor a well. Give water, give life.
Anyone can build a church. Simply give just $10 each month, and your donation, along with thousands of others, will fund a new place of worship every month. The potential for change is all around you. All you have to do is look.
Multiple group project volunteers faced unique challenges to connection on their mission trip in the Dominican Republic. Joining the project with a group of friends could prevent them from making new ones. Serving alongside strangers could limit the growth of pre-existing relationships. If there were a perfect place for either of these issues to be overcome, it was evening worship.
During the worships, usually Miss Spivey will give us like prompts, and we'll answer the prompts. She'll have us go into like different groups, so we mix up the two different schools, and we'll get to discuss and talk about stuff. And it's also a way for us to get to know each other. So there's some questions about like us and what we like to do, and then questions about like what we heard in church or how we saw God in our work day. So it's a way to get everybody to draw out what they saw and think deeper about how they felt and share it with others in a more safe space.
There's always a lot of conversation and a lot of ways that we've told each other that God has really shown them a different way to view Him, you know what I mean? Everyone is praying for each other. Everyone is not ashamed of what we're doing. And it's very refreshing to see that we're all on the same page and we get to end the day talking about God's love.
I think it got even more spiritually connecting because one of our chaperones created journals, and we started writing in those journals. So now we're putting our thoughts and our ideas into paper, and we're looking at it and we're really having to think about it.
I want my students to be able to feel and to see God's presence every day. And I want this mission to be, if not the starting point, but also like a catalyst to that, so they could actually have that personal relationship with God, not have a relationship that's based on me, based on their parents, based on what church says, but to have that connection with God so that if they're going through hard times, they will be able to call on Him for themselves.
During worship one evening, after the group was asked to share how their faith had been most strengthened, Yamile decided to speak up.
My biggest challenge here in this project has been to find out that my grandma passed away the second day I got here. I received, I think, the text from my brother Friday morning when we were about to leave for the first day of construction. I wasn't able to attend the funeral and all of this, so it was very hard to be here. I guess at some point I felt alone. I'm like, I have no family here. So yeah, that was definitely the biggest challenge for me to be here. But at the same time, I thank God that I guess this happened while I'm here, because I feel like while I'm in this mission trip, it's everything about forgetting the needs that I have and see what other people are going through and everything. So I think that He gave me the peace that I needed during this time. I didn't know I could have. I feel like the night I shared it on worship night, after that I felt like the warmth of like the people that were around me, you know, because they had just found out too. Everybody was surprised, and I just felt like a sense of support, even if it wasn't shared through words. I just felt like their presence there was kind of like I guess a warmth for me to, you know, be surrounded by people that I guess understood at some point what I'm going through.
I would say it's important to lean on others when going to a new place because you never know what you're going to get. Nothing's going to be perfect. Something's always going to pop up, and you have to learn how to figure it out. And when you have other people next to you to help you through that process, it is not as hard as it could be if you were by yourself.
Yamile's support system helped her find the strength to face her grief and give construction work another try on one of the last days of the project.
John and I finished a whole line of the bricks. I was even able to pick up the bricks and all of that. And that's when I started getting better at it, I guess. I was able to lay more the blocks better, straight and everything. I guess I could say I'm proud of myself for being able to accomplish that. Yeah, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was actually very fun being there with the other kids from the project. And yeah, it was just a fun experience.
What about the rest of the group? What impact did the project's social dynamic have on them? Did multiple group project keep pace with other Maranatha trips in regard to quality connections?
Thankfully, it's ended up kind of just being like one big family already, and we're not even completely through the trip yet. I've definitely enjoyed everyone I've been with and made some pretty good friends that I hope to stay in touch with for a long time.
The chaperones did have to push us a little to hang out, and honestly I feel it was for the best. It was for the best because I truly feel like it's helped us more, obviously, with working with the kids at VBS, just getting to know each other, making friends that will last a lifetime.
After the second or third day, you're going to work with these people and you're sweating and you're tired and eating with them and stuff like that, and that just really, you're bound to start talking to each other. And so through mixing with going to VBS or clinic or the construction site, we have all kind of talked to the people around us and been able to kind of start friendships and stuff.
It's very much like a community, honestly. The schools, they talk to one another and they sit with each other and work together.
I got to make a lot of friends, and we've become really close really quickly. We always share food, a lot of stories. We know a lot about each other now, and it's a great bonding experience because we've grown into a family really quickly. Same thing with the chaperones from just other schools and just the people who didn't come with my school. I've really gotten to connect with them because we have the same goal, and we want everyone to feel as comfortable as possible so that we can then work together easier and faster. So yeah, I think the dynamic is very tight-knit.
So of course, with groups, people tend to kind of want to be with their own, and we've seen some of that, but we have seen some friendships developing, and students sort of gravitating towards one group or another, and it's great to see them working together. Now they're not really just sitting but with their friends. Some of them are mixing in, and so we expected there to be some of that separation at the beginning, but now as the week progresses, you get to see more of the connection, and I like that. I like to see students get to make new friends that probably gonna be talking to, hopefully for life, but even if it's not for life, but it's at least get outside of their comfort zone.
Whether working a job or volunteering, those you're with are just as important as what you do. But as multiple group project volunteers discovered, you don't need a meticulously curated team. You don't even need to know everyone beforehand. All you need is the strength to step outside of your comfort zone, the courage to be vulnerable, and a heart open to those around you.